the revelation at Sinai. Now the Gemara discusses this for 4 pages. So we're in page 86, A1. מניין לפולטת שכבת זרע ביום השלישי שהטמעה. How do we know that a woman who emits semen on the 3rd day after intercourse is tameh? שנאמר, היו נכונים ל3 ימים. Be ready for a 3-day period. So that's the reason they had to avoid their wives for 3 days before the revelation, so that the women and everybody will be tahor at that time. And then the Mishnah mentions 3 more things. מניין שמרחיצין את המילה ביום השלישי שחל להיות בשבת. How do we know that we may or should bathe the infant on the 3rd day after the circumcision, even if it's on Shabbat? So even one should heat water for that. שנאמר ויהי ביום השלישי בהיותם כואבים. On the 3rd day when they were in pain. Shechem. So this is a source that the 3rd day of the circumcision is the most dangerous day. Also by Avraham also. The Midrash there says, מניין שקושרים לשון של זהורית בראש שעיר המשתלח. How do we know that a strip of red wool is tied on the head of the he-goat that is sent away to Azazel? שנאמר אם יהיו חטאיכם כשנים כשלג ילבינו. If your sins will be like crimson, they will become white as snow. What, to tie the thing? I don't think it's mentioned in the Torah itself. It's the source is here. And the last thing in this Mishnah, minayin lesicha sheichishtiyah b'Yom Kippurim. How do we know that anointing is tantamount to drinking on Yom Kippur? So just like there's a prohibition to drink, so too there's a prohibition to anoint. Af al pi she'en raya ladavar, even though there's no explicit proof, zecher ladavar, there is an allusion. שנאמר ותבוא חיים בקרבו וכשמן בעצמותיו. So this verse compares drinking water to anointing oil, and so therefore both are forbidden on Yom Kippur. Okay, the first thing the Gemara is asking is that the Mishnah does not seem to be consistent because the Mishnah is anonymous. We would expect this Mishnah to be 86. Yeah, this Mishnah is anonymous. We would expect the Mishnah to be according to one opinion. But there seems to be like 2 different opinions, 2 different Tanaim in this Mishnah. Reisha, the first clause of the Mishnah, that says that a woman who emits semen on the 3rd day after intercourse is still Tme'ah, Delo ke Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. That's not according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah in the following Braita just now. Dei ke Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Teorah shaman alei. I'm sorry, Seifa ke Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, right. The end of the later in the Mishnah is according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, because the first matter about a woman who emits semen, he holds that a woman who emits semen on the 3rd day is Teorah. Only if she emits the semen on the 2nd day she is Tme'ah. So our Mishnah, the first case of the Mishnah, is not according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So that's what usually you would expect an anonymous Mishnah to be according to one Tana. Yeah, so you would expect that to be according to one method, one opinion. And here you find one case unlike Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and then another case like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He's the one who said that one may bathe the infant on the 3rd day of the circumcision. That's Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, later in this tractate. And the first thing is not according to him. So how can that be resolved? So Rashi says there's a dispute in Masechet Bava Metzia. What should one do in such a case where there's an anonymous Mishnah with 2 different statements, that one should be attributed to one opinion, one should be attributed to another opinion? So one simple solution is to say that the Mishnah is indeed a Tanaic dispute. Even though it's an anonymous Mishnah, you can say that one part is like one Tana, the other part is like another Tana. That's one solution. But some don't like this solution because it's like splitting a Mishnah into two. So you better change the version. Yeah, so that's it. Dispute in Bava Metzia how to resolve such a thing.
Yes, the question is, do we prefer to make it a strange case to put it as one opinion, or to have in the Mishnah two separate opinions?
Right.
And not to put it in Joseph's opinion.
Yeah, what's better? What's preferred? Yeah, usually an anonymous Mishnah is like. Yeah, but there are always exceptions to the rule. So usually an anonymous Mishnah is like Rabbi Meir, but this one, at least part of it, is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So the thing is that the one who does not generally interpret different clauses of a Mishnah as reflecting the views of different Tanaim, he prefers to say that the Mishnah is consistent with one opinion. So Tana Reisha Torah simply changes the version and says that in the first statement, it says that a woman who emits semen on the third day is not me'ah, rather teorah, which is just one word. Well, but he better say that than to split the Mishnah into two and say that one is like one Tana, one is like another Tana. Yeah, so some people don't like that solution. So just change one word. Nicht gefährlich. The umuki la lechula ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. By changing that word, he can establish the entire Mishnah according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Uman de mukim ketanai, the one who does not mind to establish one Mishnah according to two different Tanaim. So there's no problem. Reisha Rabbanan, the beginning is according to the sages. V'seifa ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah.
They're not actually changing the word. They're saying that in fact the tradition they made
Right.
a mistake with the word.
Right, that should have been the original word. Yeah, but to say that there was such a change of version during the time is also a little difficult. Yeah, could be. So that depends on this dispute. תנו רבנן, פולטת שכבת זרע ביום השלישי טהורה דברי רבי אלעזר בן עזריה. Here is his opinion. He says that if a woman emits semen on the third day, she is tehora. And what is the third day? So Rashi says the day of the intercourse is counted as the first day. So if she had intercourse on Thursday, that's the first day. Friday is the second day. Now, regardless of the time on Thursday, it could be Thursday afternoon. And then Friday is the second day, and Friday night is already the third day. That's according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Divrei Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, only if she emits it either on Thursday or Friday, then she's tme'ah. Friday night, which is Shabbat, that's already tehora. Rabbi Ishmael אומר, פעמים שהן 4 עונות, פעמים שהן 5 עונות, פעמים שהן 6 עונות. According to Rabbi Ishmael, if she emits semen on the third day, she is tme'ah. And he also agrees that the day of the intercourse is counted as the first day, regardless of the time of the day when she had that intercourse. So sometimes it could be 4 periods. A period is ona, is either a whole day or a whole night, 12 hours. So it could be just 4 periods between the intercourse and the time that she emits the semen, and she's already tehora. Because if she had intercourse Wednesday afternoon, just before sunset, so then Wednesday is counted as the first day, and then Thursday and Friday are the second and the third day. So if she emits semen on Friday, she's still tme'ah, but Friday night is already the 4th day. And it's basically just 48 hours between Wednesday night just before sunset and Friday night, just a little more than 48 hours. That's 4 periods, and she's tehora. But sometimes it could be 5 periods if she had intercourse on Wednesday morning. And it could be also 6 periods if she had intercourse Tuesday night after sunset.
So each one now is up to 12 hours?
Ona is 12 hours.
Up to 12 hours.
Yeah. So the maximum could be 6 periods, which is 3 full days, 72 hours. Or it could be just 48 hours. Depends on the time of the day she had the intercourse. Because that day is counted as the first day, then 2 more days.
Just a little bit more than 48 hours.
Right. That's the minimum, and the maximum is 72 hours. And Rabbi Akiva has a third opinion. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Leolam Chamesh, it's always 5 periods, and 5 periods are actually 60 hours. 2.5 days. Each period is 12 hours, 5 times 12, 60 hours. And he even says, if a part of the first period is already passed, when intercourse took place, we give her an equivalent part of the 6th period to complete the full 5 periods, which is basically 60 hours. Right. Each one derived it from his understanding of the that prohibition at the revelation before Sinai. What's the halacha? Halacha is, according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that the 3rd day she is tehora, only in the 2nd day she is tme'ah. Right, but for some matters there is such a thing of ona, 12-hour period, either a whole day or a whole night. That's it's a known concept. Even in Nida you find that concept, ona, that if a woman expects to menstruate in a certain period, so she should avoid her husband from the beginning of that period, the beginning of that day or that night. Yeah. So there is such a... Okay, so now the question is, Amaru Rabbanan Kamed, that Rav Papa, the student, asked Rav Papa, the Amr la Rav Papa le Rava, Bishlam Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's opinion is understandable. How does he know that if a woman emits semen on the 3rd day she is tehora? Kerabanan, the Amrei b'chamishi avid prisha. We have a dispute later in this, the end of this page. How exactly was the order of events before the revelation at Sinai? The sages argue with Rabbi Yossi. According to the sages, the mitzvah to separate, to abstain from their wives was given to them on Thursday. The Torah was given on Shabbat, and they had to avoid their wives since Thursday. According to Rabbi Yossi, it started on Wednesday, that they had to abstain from their wives until Shabbat. So Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who says that if she emits semen on the 3rd day, she is tehora, that's like the sages. The Amrei b'chamishi avud prisha. They say that abstinence was begun on the Thursday prior to the revelation, and that's why on that Thursday, just 2 days it takes. So they could have intercourse on Wednesday, and even if they would emit semen on Friday, that would still be okay. They could still immerse Friday night, and then they're tahor. And even if they'll emit semen on Friday night, it already does not contaminate because it's already the 3rd day, and only on the 2nd day it contaminates. So the Gemara later discusses that at length, but how each one explains the order of events. Rabbi Ishmael says that if she emits semen on the 3rd day, she's still tme'ah. That's Rabbi Yossi. That's like Rabbi Yossi. The Amar b'revi'ah avid prisha. He says later that the abstinence began on Wednesday prior to the revelation, and that's why it had to start on Wednesday because it takes 3 days for the semen not to contaminate. Ela Rabbi Akiva Keman, but Rabbi Akiva, who says that it's a matter of 5 periods of 60 hours. According to whom does he say that? Sounds like neither Rabbi Yossi nor the sages. So the answer is that Rabbi Akiva also is leolam ke Rabbi Yossi. It's like Rabbi Yossi, who says that the abstinence started on Wednesday. However, he says that it started on Wednesday morning and not Wednesday afternoon. Kede amar Rav Ada bar Ahava, Moshe be'ashkama ala u'be'ashkama yarad. Moshe Rabbeinu always ascended Mount Sinai at daybreak. He ascended and descended a few times.
24 hours.
So every time he ascended was a morning, and every time he descended was also a morning. 24 hours. He always ascended Mount Sinai at daybreak, and he descended at daybreak. How does he know that? Be'ashkama ala, he ascended at daybreak. דכתיב וישכם משה בבוקר ויעל אל הר סיני. So an explicit verse says he ascended at daybreak. ובהשכמה ירד, how do we know that he descended at daybreak? דכתיב לך רד ועלית אתה ואהרון עמך. So this verse mentions both to descend and ascend. Makish ירידה לעלייה compares the descent to the ascent. מה עלייה בהשכמה, just like the ascent was at daybreak, אף ירידה בהשכמה, so to the descent was at daybreak. Was that's the descent time to descend. Yeah.
Talk about how high he ascended as he ascended.
About how?
How high he ascended as the mountain is a big thing.
Yeah, big mountain. Actually, it says that Mount Sinai was a low mountain. It was, yeah, still had to climb up to. Yeah, I was 80 years old, but for him it was no problem. Okay, so according to this, Moshe Rabbeinu descended on Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, in the very beginning of the morning, daybreak, he told them to abstain from their wives. And from then it was exactly 5 periods until Friday night. The day of Wednesday is 1 period, and then Thursday 2 periods, and Friday 2 periods, 5 periods from Wednesday morning, 60 hours from Wednesday morning. Exactly, that's Rabbi Akiva's source. But now the question is, if that's the way it was, that he warned them on Wednesday morning to abstain from their wives, why did he have to say that Wednesday morning? Sounds like it's irrelevant during the day. The people of Israel are holy. They do not engage in marital relations by day. So it sounds like it's unnecessary to mention that on Wednesday morning. He should have only told them that Wednesday night. The answer is that sometimes it's permissible even during the day. If it was a dark house, so then cohabitation by day is permitted. Also, a Torah scholar, Rashi says, who is modest and does not look, he can darken the immediate area with his cloak, so he's permitted to engage in relations even during the day. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu had to warn them already in the morning to abstain from that. Okay. And now comes another question. But according to this, they immersed Friday night. Right? He warned them on Wednesday morning, and then 5 periods they have to wait, because if any woman emitted semen during these 5 periods, she would be tme'ah. And then Friday night, when it came into the 6th period, they could immerse, and then on the following morning they were tehurim. However, the immersion on that night still renders them tvul yom, and because tvul yom, that status remains until the following sunset. Immerses at night, the status of that person is tvul yom until the following sunset. So it emerges that on Shabbat morning, on the day of the Torah was given, they were in the status of tvul yom. Could that be that when the Torah was given, it was given to them in that status of tvul yom, which is not the complete purification? So the answer is yes. Abaye Baravin v'Rav Chanina Baravin Amrit Arvai, they both said, Nitna Torah l'tvul yom, the Torah was indeed given to tvul yom, yes. Yeah, they say no problem. The Torah could have been given to tvul yom. It's not an impediment to receiving the Torah. For the tvul yom is restricted only from eating sacred foods and entering the temple courtyard. But the women were able to wait until Friday night to immerse, and no problem. They could receive the Torah in that status. Yes, if they immersed on Friday, and then that should be okay. And actually, that's what the Gemara says soon, that they actually immersed on Friday. But if they would still emit semen at the end of Friday, the end of the day, they would need to immerse again after that, and that would be Friday night. But still, it says it's okay. It could be tvul yom. No, the women could immerse even before the end of the 5 periods. They could immerse, but then they take a risk that if they will still emit semen within these 5 periods, they will still be tamei. They'll have to immerse again. No, Tvul Yom is any person immersed and did not yet experience sunset. That's a Tvul Yom. A person immersed on that day without yet getting into the following day. So if they immerse Friday night, they remain Tvul Yom until sunset Saturday night. Ah, how do they have a mikveh there? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, maybe a miracle. I don't know. Says the well of Miriam was there. Okay, that was a miracle. So that's to drink. Why to drink? No, to just immerse. Okay. They could pull some water for a mikveh. Okay. And then the question is, Yativ Mareimar v'ka'amar la le'ashmata. Mareimar was sitting and saying this. So Amar li Ravina le Mareimar, nitna ka'amarta. Do you actually say that the Torah was given to Tvulei Yom? Or perhaps, or Reuya ka'amarta, maybe you say that the Torah was fit to be given to Tvulei Yom. In other words, he says, did they actually wait for Friday night to immerse? Or maybe they immersed already before Friday night, and they just took the risk that if any woman would emit semen, she would have to immerse again, but maybe it never happened. So he says, right, I said it was fit to be given to Tvul Yom, but however, no Jew was a Tvul Yom on that momentous occasion. The period of abstinence that the Jews were required to observe was long enough that in the worst case, everyone would have been able at least to immerse before the Torah was given and receive it as a Tvul Yom. However, no Jew was actually a Tvul Yom when the Torah was given. Rather than waiting until Friday night to immerse, they immersed on Friday afternoon, so that upon nightfall their purification would be complete. If any woman had emitted semen late Friday afternoon, she would need to immerse again, but it never happened. So this is the Friday before the Torah was given on Shabbat. Right, but those women had intercourse on Wednesday, if they would still emit semen, then these laws were given on that occasion. It was a special law that was given before the Torah was given. This is one law that was given before a few laws were given also before. Mara, Shabbat, Para Aduma, Dinim. Okay, so now the question is, if that's the case, and the periods were over Friday night, so then why was the giving of the Torah delayed until Saturday morning? Why not give the Torah Friday night? Let them immerse themselves Friday evening, and then they could receive the Torah Friday evening. Why was the giving of the Torah delayed until Shabbat morning? If it's possible to give it earlier, why not advance it? Well, the answer is it doesn't fit to give it at night. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, lo merosh baseter dibarti. I did not speak in secret. Yeah, night, when dark, it's not the proper time to give the Torah. It should be given daylight, right? Ah, how could Hashem give a present in Shabbos? The Gabbai in Shul, that when they give a bar mitzvah boy a present, he says we made an acquisition for him before Shabbat. So Hashem maybe could have done that also with the Torah. So the Gemara soon discusses that later in this page. How did this judge say in America that the sunlight purifies? What did it say? There's a statement of the Judge Brandeis. I think he said that disinfects. Right, the sunlight disinfects. So the Torah should be given in light. Okay, so now the question is, if so, velit belu betzafra de so let them immerse on Shabbat morning. Since the Torah had to be given in the morning, so why did they not immerse on that morning? Velikablu Torah betzafra de and receive the Torah that morning. Why was it necessary to advance the immersion to Friday evening? If it's correct that only 5 periods must pass before semen loses its viability, when it stops to contaminate, why was it necessary for Moshe to give the order for abstinence at daybreak Wednesday? The abstinence could have commenced late Wednesday evening, for this would have left them time to immerse themselves 5 periods later on the Shabbat morning. The 5 periods would have been Wednesday night, then Thursday also, Thursday night, daytime Friday, and Friday night. And then it can immerse Shabbat morning, and then that's after 5 periods passed. The answer is that wouldn't be so nice, because אמר רבי יצחק שלא יהיה הללו הולכים לקבל תורה והללו הולכים לתפילה. If that would be the case, so then some people or most people would go to receive the Torah, and others would go to immerse. Doesn't pass nicht. Not so nice.
You could have just said that the first part of the reading the Torah at sunrise, so they have motivation to ready for up when it's sunrise, and then they wouldn't be there at all. So that you didn't know what time it was. That's what.
No, it says Biyot HaBoker, when it became morning. That's when the Torah was given.
You know, what's morning.
And actually, that's what they say, that the custom not to sleep Shavuot night is because they slept and they had to be awakened to receive the Torah. So I said maybe there's no time. Exactly. So that's what it says here. Even if there was time, it wouldn't be proper for some people to go to receive the Torah and others go to the mikveh. Not so. אמר רבי חייא ברבי אבא, אמר רבי יוחנן, זו דברי רבי ישמעאל ורבי עקיבא. These are the words of Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva. אבל חכמים אומרים that the sages say, 6 עונות שלמות בעינן. We require 6 complete 12-hour periods to elapse before an emission of semen can be considered tahor. And these sages concur with Rabbi Yossi that the order for abstinence was given on Wednesday, and with Rabbi Akiva, who says that it was given at daybreak. So, but they hold that the revelation was delayed until this Shabbat morning, not merely so that it would occur during daylight, but because that's the first chance that they could immerse. So according to them, indeed, some people went to receive the Torah and others went to immerse, because that was the first opportunity to immerse after the abstinence elapsed. No, they waited for them. Yeah. Okay. Amar Rav Chisda machloket shepersha min hasha. This dispute, the dispute is actually how long does it take for the semen to, let's say, putrefy, right, become putrid, and yeah, so it's right, loses its viability. Yeah, so putrefy could be a, and then this dispute, how long it takes it to stop contaminating, machloket shepersha min haisha, is only in case the semen issued from a woman. So then there is this certain limit that after some time, whether it's 2 days or 3 days, because of the body heat of the woman, that causes that semen to lose its viability and it stops contaminating. But in case the semen issued from a man, let's say on a garment, then it continues to contaminate for as long as it's moist. There's no limit. If it could remain moist for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, it would still contaminate for as long as it's moist. Maybe it depends on the temperature in the room, on the humidity level. But that's what it says. What spoils it is the heat of the woman's body. Without being in the woman's body, it would not be spoiled, and as long as it's moist, it continues to contaminate. And then Mativ Rav Sheshet challenges from a verse that says, "V'chol beged, v'chol or, asher yiheh alav shichvat zara," on any garment or leather on which there shall be semen shall be tameh. So the Baita says, "Prat leshichvat zera sheisrucha." This excludes semen which is foul. No. So what's the case? Ma'ilav shepersha min aish. Is it not referring to semen that was issued from a man unto the garment? And yet the Baita says that once it became foul, it stops contaminating. The answer is no. Lo shepersha min aisha. The verse refers to such semen that was issued from a woman unto the garment or the leather. But if it was issued from a man, it never stops contaminating as long as it's moist. And now comes an inquiry by Rav Papa, Shichvat Zera Shel Israel b'me'ei kutitma. What about semen of a Jew that was in the womb, in the body of a non-Jewish woman? Well, some people have their ways to. Yeah. So does it become foul after 3 days, like semen in the womb of a Jewess, or maybe not? Why should there be a difference between the body of a Jewish woman and the body of a non-Jewish woman? Because maybe Israel did the Igor mitzvah, maybe Jewish women who are constantly concerned with the proper performance of mitzvot, that worry, chavil gufayu, heats their body. And that's what causes the semen to foul. Aval of dekochavim, but the non-Jews, they have no worries. That's what they say in Australia, right? No worries. So, what the Igor mitzvot? They have no worries in mitzvot, so their bodies are not so hot. They do not cause the semen to become foul. Or perhaps a Dilma, on the other side, even though they have no worries of mitzvot, since they eat abominable creatures and crawling creatures, that heats their bodies, and they also cause the semen to putrefy after only 3 days. That's a doubt. If you conclude and say that since they eat these abominable and crawling creatures, their bodies become hot and they cause the semen to be putrefy. What about what if there's a semen of a Jew in the womb of an animal? Just like it could get into the womb of a non-Jewish woman, it could get into the womb of an animal. So what happens there? Does it spoil there or not? What's the difference? No, none of them need to go to the mikveh. But the thing is, maybe there's a difference between the body heat of a woman and the body heat of an animal. Why? Because Isha, the itla prosdor, masachet, a woman who has a corridor, the vaginal canal leading to her uterus, so the semen becomes foul in the uterus because it's not exposed to air and it becomes very hot. So maybe that's relevant for a woman, but in case of an animal, the leitla prosdor, who does not have a corridor, so maybe there the semen does not become putrefied. Or dilmalo, maybe there's no difference. Loshna, this remains teiko. So if it becomes relevant, there's a doubt. Remains a doubt. And now we come to this basic dispute about the order of events before the revelation at Sinai. Tanura Banan. There's a dispute. What was the date? All agree that it was given on Shabbat. The Torah was given on Shabbat. The dispute is whether that Shabbat was the 6th of Sivan or the 7th of Sivan. No, Shabbat morning. All agree that it was given Shabbat morning. The question is, what was the date? And the question is, if Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Sunday or Monday? That's the doubt. I think this month we had Rosh Chodesh on a Sunday, right? Last Sunday was Rosh Chodesh. So Friday was the 6th of Sivan and Shabbat was the 7th of Sivan. That's Rabbi Yossi's opinion. The sages say that Rosh Chodesh that time was on Monday. So Shabbat was the 6th of Sivan. So that's a good question. What about how many days was it from the Exodus? Because they left Egypt on a Thursday, according to the Midrash, and the Torah was given on Shabbat. So if you count the days, it emerges it's 51, right?
They agree on that, but the question is, if it was on the 7th or on the 6th, not have to go to Kiddush Chodesh. That's a totally
Right.
question.
When was Rosh Chodesh? That's the question. So they had both. Yom Tov Sheni was 7, right? Yeah, the problem is they couldn't go to shul from. Tanu Rabbanan, Bashishi b'chodesh nitnu aseret hadivot leIsrael, according to the sages, on the 6th of the month, the 10 commandments were given to Israel. Rabbi Yossi Omer b'shiva, Rabbi Yossi says it was the 7th of the month. And now Rava explains, Amar Rava, the Chuli Alma, according to all opinions, b'Rosh Chodesh atu lemidbar Sinai, all agree that they arrived to the wilderness, at the wilderness on Rosh Chodesh, the first day of Sivan. That is derived from Gzera Shava. K'tiv hacha bayom hazeh ba'u midbar Sinai, on that day, on this day, they arrived. U'k'tiv hatam hachodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodeshim. So hazeh, that's Gzera Shava. Ma le'alan Rosh Chodesh, afkan Rosh Chodesh. So that's unanimous. They arrived on Rosh Chodesh at the wilderness. Also, another unanimous thing is Udechule Alma b'Shabbat nitna Torah Israel. The Torah was given on Shabbat. It's also derived through Gzera Shava. K'tiv hacha zachor et yom haShabbat lekadesho. So it says zachor, remember. U'k'tiv hatam vayomer Moshe el ha'am zachor et hayom hazeh, remember this day, which you departed from Egypt. And the use of that word in both places, Gzera Shava, ma le'alan b'itzumo shel yom, just like there. On the very day of the Exodus, Afkan b'itzumo shel yom, the very day of the Shabbat. The point of dispute is b'kviyat hayarcha, the establishment of the month. What day was Rosh Chodesh Sivan? Was it Sunday or Monday? Rabbi Yossi savar b'chad b'Shabbat ikva yarcha. Rabbi Yossi holds that Rosh Chodesh was established on Sunday. So according to him, Shabbat was the 7th of the month. And what was the order of events? Uvechad b'Shabbat, on Sunday, that Sunday that they arrived at the wilderness, lo amar lu v'lo midei, Moshe Rabbeinu said nothing to them, mishum chulshat orcha, because of the exhaustion from the journey. They just arrived, they had to relax. B'trei b'Shabbat, on the second day, the Monday, amar lehu ve'atem tiyu li mamlechet kohanim, you shall be to me a kingdom of ministers. That was actually the purpose of the Torah, for the Jewish nation to become a holy nation. And then Betlata, on Tuesday, the third day, Amarlu mitzvat Hagbala, he said to them the commandment of setting boundaries, not to approach the mountain, to stay away from the Mount Sinai. Right? On Wednesday, Avut Prisha, they separated from their wives. And then later says that he actually added another day. Moshe Rabbeinu added one more day, and then the Torah was given on Shabbat, even though it was supposed to be given on Friday. The Rabbanan Savri, the sages say no, the order of events only started on Monday and not on Sunday. The Rosh Chodesh was established on Monday. That was the day that they arrived at the wilderness. On that day, he did not say anything to them because of the exhaustion from the journey. On Tuesday, according to the sages, he said to them what he said according to Rabbi Yossi on Monday. He said to them, "Ve'atem tiyuli." Be'arba'a, on Wednesday, he said to them according to what Rabbi Yossi said. He said on Tuesday, "Amarlu mitzvat hagbala," the commandment to set boundaries. B'chamisha avut prisha, they only separated from their wives on Thursday, and not on Wednesday, as Rabbi Yossi says. Okay, so this is the basic dispute, and the Gemara now continues to elaborate